yo, but we are nothing's friend. From the see the first time, want touch us since then. Come on, boy, yo, get anything you like. Long as you alright, then me alright. Me know your man, that's why I'm alive.
Your voice, your music.
Whether me in a skirt or jeans or short shorts, head race when me walk past. Me feel the eyes, believe the eye. Me love the lights, me sweet the spice.
Baby, pana, they say like you all I got to all baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I can follow you to go, baby. New level.
You're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM.
New level, new level. New level, new level. New level, new level. I them turn Tony in a rebel. Pam pam banana pam panam panam pam pam banana pam panam pam 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 banana pam panam panam pam pam banana pam panam pam.
Your voice, your music, your station. WGHC 98.3 FM.
Do you have dreams for yourself outside of a 9 to 5? Do you feel frustrated because everyone around you seems to be starting businesses and getting ahead? Are you frustrated that your numbers not increasing year over year? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, we have a solution for you. Average Black Girl. Average Black Girl is a boutique marketing firm with a focus on marketing strategies, website development, project management, securing sponsorships, working with startups, and many more.
Here at Average Black Girl, I, Danielle Mitchell, am founder and an international marketing strategist with experience working with big box brands from beverage companies to hair companies and many more. I'm using Average Black Girl to help create more Black millionaires by giving tools and strategies to business owners to maximize their growth. Head over and visit my site at averageblackgirl.org and book a session with me. Mention this ad and you will get a free 15-minute strategy session. Kick off the new year making your goals a reality with Average Black Girl, because there's nothing average about this Black girl.
Mills Real Agents has been serving the northern Chicagoland and surrounding suburbs for almost 30 years. If you're relocating your family from around the world, looking for that perfect home in your new land, or looking for that perfect storefront to achieve the American dream, Mills Realty is here to help. We take the time to get to know our clients and find the properties that best fit their needs and lifestyles. Whether you're looking to buy or sell a property, you can contact us at 773-764-9547. Visit our office at 2640 West 2 Chicago, Illinois, or look us up at millsreal.com.
Safari Lounge.
You're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM.
While yo, but we are nothing's friend. From the see the first time, want touch us since then. Come on, boy, yo, get anything you like. Long as you alright, then me alright. Me know your man, that's why I'm alive.
Your voice, your music.
Whether me in a skirt or jeans or short shorts, head race when me walk past. Me feel the eyes, believe the eye. Me love the lights, me sweet the spice.
Baby, pana, they say like you all I got to all baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I can follow you to go, baby. New level.
You're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM.
New level, new level. New level, new level. New level, new level. I them turn Tony in a rebel. Pam pam banana pam panam panam pam pam banana pam panam pam 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 banana pam panam panam pam pam banana pam panam pam.
Your voice, your music, your station. WGHC 98.3 FM.
Hello, welcome, and good evening. This is Straight Talk Radio coming to you from WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. I am your host, Oke Okachukwu. My other hosts are en route, and when they get here, we'll update you. Well, thank you and welcome to another episode of Straight Talk Radio, the world as we see it. This is a news program where we discuss current affairs from an Igbo perspective. This program is sponsored by Igbo American Heritage Foundation, and our aim is to bring you our culture, to bring you our information to also learn from the cultures around us and to educate on the things that we know and learn the things we don't know. There are three things we try to talk about on this show, and at least three triparts that this show stands on. One of them is, what are the things that we are doing really, really great that we should continue? The other one is, what are we not doing so well that we should let go? And what are others doing that we're not doing that we should learn? My other co-host is here, Mazi KK Odeluga. So you are tuned into a Global Tuesday where we discuss events happening around the world from an Igbo perspective. And today, one of the things we're going to talk about is the recently concluded Igbo Fest. So if you were in Chicago this weekend, you had a bunch of places to go to enjoy culture, to have fun, and to see Africa and Africans in diaspora in their glory, in their native wear, with their culture, and even including other cultures. One was the Bantu Fest, the other was the Ghana Fest, and then where I was most of the day was the Igbo Fest. And I'll talk to you from an Igbo perspective, so we'll talk more about the Igbo Fest. It is the Igbo Festival, anchored on Saturday by the Festival at the Park, Jackson Park, and where we display most of a lot of our culture. And one of the central things that happen with the culture is the Ahia Joku Festival. And with that festival, what we do is showcase our Igbo festivals, but also it's also called the New Yam Festival. But as our resident expert on Igbo culture has told us several times, it is the celebration of hard work. It's the celebration of effort, the celebration of success, anchored by the harvest of the new yam, where the farmers show off their effort. So, Mazio Delega, anything you want to say about that?
Yes.
So I was talking about Ahajioku and what he meant and the celebration that went on at the festival. Anything you want to say before I go on talking about what happened or what should happen next?
Yes. I mean, it's one of those, one will ask the question, why all these festivals? Why are they all happening among the diasporic communities? And I think it's important from the point of view that the preservation of one's culture is critical to their self-identity, their survival, and also the ability to make contribution in every environment and wherever they are. You see, America is unique in a sense that times have changed.
Yes.
It used to be that when people immigrated to the United States, at Ellis Island, people changed their names. They Yankeeized themselves, what I call Yankeeization.
Not Americanization.
Yes, you become a Yankee.
Yes.
And so, part of that effort is being made, why those efforts are being made is so that people will blend.
Yes.
It was important to a lot of the people who were coming out of Europe at that time, especially. To a lot of them burnt the bridges. There were no bridges to go back to their homeland.
You've left and you're not going back.
They've left and that's it. And I meet families, whose grandfathers came and none of them have ever been back to Italy, been back to Sweden or Germany or France or even Scotland or Northern Ireland or England.
Yes.
But that had its purpose.
Yes.
And I meet a lot of people who regret the fact that, yes, my parents didn't allow us to speak Polish or Italian language or Sicilian language, but it was something that the adults talked about among themselves. And so the children were being encouraged as much as possible to be, to sound American, to acculturize quickly.
Right, right.
Now, but since the turn of the century, I'll say mid 50s and up till now, there's a different mindset among immigrants. Seeing the world as a global community. Yes, we come to America because we believe in her ideals. And frankly, for the Igbo especially, if I can speak for the Igbo, there's no value system within the American value system that people kind of like look at and say, okay, this is truly a pure American value that you cannot find is corollary, the similar values within the Igbo culture. Right. So to be a good Igbo is to be a good American. And so for our community, it was important that we establish a point of reference for our younger generation so that they can come and enjoy some of the things that some of us, that those of us who are new immigrants grew up with when we were growing up in Igbo land.
And is it just enough for them to just see some of the things that you grew up with? Because for me, I'm thinking there's a bigger lesson there, right? It's not just showing them, well, this is what we used to do. There's a significance of why.
That's right. I mean, you see, when you show what you used to do, then they will ask the question, why do you do what you do? Then that's where you go into to explain who you are and who our fathers are and why our fathers established those things. So it's a place of learning, a place of acculturation for them. And more than anything else, it's affirmation of identity so that they themselves will feel comfortable bearing Igbo names and knowing that they are Igbo, and there's nothing derogatory about it. There's nothing un-American about being Igbo. And I think, as we have discussed in this program also, the impetus for the restoration of Igbo, of the preservation of Igbo culture, or the promotion of Igbo culture within the American diaspora, is also the fact that a lot of our ancestors were brought here, and we are part of that group of Africans who were denied the exercise of their culture. Right. So for a lot of the Africans in the America who are now beginning to recognize their Igbo identity, their Igbo ancestry through DNA testings or even research or genealogical research, it is important that they could that they understand what it means to be Igbo. Yes. And to understand what it is those of us who know about the Igbo culture will be able to impact it to them. So it's important. This works both ways. As we come into the African diaspora, these activities have become crucial in restoration of the values and the systems that the Africans lost that came earlier, those who came earlier before us.
Okay. So before we go on the conversation, I want to take the short time out to say kudos and thanks to those people who organized those festivals, not just Igbo Fest, the Bantu Fest, the Ghana Fest. I know a lot of hard work went into what happened over the weekend, and for some of the festivals, it actually was multiple days over the weekend. And special thanks to the IAC, the Igbo Associations of Chicago, and their board and their chairpersons and all those people who were involved in putting this year's show together. You guys outdid yourselves, and great kudos and thanks to you. But then, why I'm saying the thanks is because I want to pivot the conversation to say, all right, so we on Friday went out to an intergenerational dialogue for the Igbo people, and we talked about Igbo Gade and what it means and what next. And then we went to the park, we celebrated our culture, and then on Sunday we got together and gave all thanks to God. And then from now on, what? So we did all this, so what's next? What are we doing? What are we going to do? Where does this lead? What's the follow-up? Any?
I mean, again, the Igbo society is not built on organizations.
Yes.
It's built on families.
Yep.
You know, so
the family is the bedrock of
the Igbo community. That's
yes.
right. So I hope that the fathers and mothers were paying attention.
Yes.
At this year's festival and asking themselves the question, what more do we need to do to make sure that the Igbo culture will endure?
So I hear a lot, not just in the Igbo community, but all around the U.S. and even around the world, of the disintegration of the family.
Yes.
Especially nuclear families. There's a whole lot of divorces.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of breakup. And the divorce is not just man and wife anymore. Sometimes it's the children divorcing the parents.
Yes.
So now that we know that the bedrock of the Igbo society is the family, and we know that there's a huge avalanche of disintegration going on.
Yes.
What's next? How do we reconcile the two? How do we make sure that this breakup and disintegration does not fracture the community?
There is a reason why, if you look back into our own culture, indigenous culture, that the rate of divorce is low. There's a reason why that the rate of divorce or family, what you call disintegration, is low.
Yes.
Because there are value systems that we have.
Yes.
There are traditional norms that we have that have preserved the Igbo family.
Yes.
And there are support systems and accountability systems that were built into the preservation of the family.
Yes.
And so that is what we have to ask ourselves: how far have we gone in trying to, one, inculcate some of those values into our young people? How much of the support system have we built around younger marriages? Those who are older, how have we showcased? How have we been an example to the younger generation? And what are the things that are actually impacting our relationships and our marriages? And how can we begin to deal with them as a community? Now, I know that this conversation has been going on, and that is actually an existential threat.
Yes.
to our
one of the existential threats we talked about.
That's
for
right.
Igbo
Igbo Gadi is one of our existential threats. If we cannot build strong Igbo families, then our culture will be at the risk, at the peril of disintegration.
So we talked about cultural norms and values that makes Igbo families stronger.
Yes.
But these are, we're in the dispersion, as I call it. These are people that have left where those cultures were grown and acculturated them. And like you said, are becoming Yankeeized.
Yes.
Are dropping their values and picking up new ones that they think will be helpful for their journey in the new world.
Yes.
What are those things that these families should not drop? What are those things that they should hold on to and actually maybe even sell to the people in the new world?
No, I strongly
share.
That's right. I strongly believe in a creator God, Chineke.
Yes.
Makana Igbo no onye bulu chie ụzọ gbagbuo onwe ya n'ọsọ. You see, at the beginning and the end of the Igbo experience and the Igbo culture is rooted in his belief in the existence of a supreme God.
So what do you say to those people who are picking up the new science, the atheistic sciences, where we are beginning to question, are these not fables? Who told you? How did you know?
No, I'm glad that you brought that, because at the symposium, which is the symposium that usually follows that kicks off the Igbo Fest weekend, is always geared as an intergenerational dialogue.
Yes.
So that kind of like enables our younger members of our community to interrogate the culture.
Yes.
And that is something that is quintessential Igbo. You know, we are not afraid of that question the community, question the values and the things that we do, interrogate it within context.
Yes.
So I remember one young lady asked me and said, but I don't believe in God. Now, I told her that to be an atheist,
Yes.
it's not possible as an Onyibo.
Yes.
Because if you truly believe what we believe, if the worldview of the Igbo means you as a person, Mado,
Yes.
Bomodindo,
You are a spirit.
you're a spirit.
Yes.
Okay, so
A
now
living spirit.
you're a living spirit.
Yes. Embodied.
And onye na chie,
And everybody has one.
onye na
You
chie,
can't exist without one.
you have to you have to have a
There's a God spirit with everything.
there's a spirit in you.
Yes.
And no onye na chie, meaning that chi is unique to you.
It's yours.
I cannot carry your chi.
It's uniquely.
Chi
Yes.
na
embodied.
eke. Your eke is your destiny.
Yes.
And so, and then you just oppose this beside the idea that is universal na Igbo, na ife kwulu, ife akwudebie.
Yes.
Nothing stands alone.
No man is an island.
Okwatago.
Nkembiche, Walaja.
Kembiche, but Jaffa. You
Yes.
see, so you can't say, "Oh, I don't believe in God."
Yes.
Meanwhile, you yourself
A living God.
is a living spirit. So you live within a spiritual cosmos that you must locate yourself and the supreme being that you have association with.
The atheism has nothing Igbo in it. If you find yourself to be an atheist, you've rejected everything.
Everything about you as a person and as life. So you really have no locus in time and life. So no wonder the good book says it's only a fool that says there's no God.
Yes.
And so you believe. So if onye Igbo na-eme n'ọfụ ifufu na uche dịka ọ fọrọ ofu mfu ọkụ.
Yeah, I mean, I envy those people who find themselves on that side of the confusion.
Yes, but it's because our people erroneously believe that Christianity, the Bible, is a white man's religion.
Yes.
Forget the messenger through whom you received the word.
Yes.
And by the way, the first people who brought us the gospel were not white people.
Europeans. Yes, they were our brothers that were taken.
So they were Igbo people who came out of Sierra Leone, and many of them were ex-slaves.
Yes.
And so they brought the gospel to us.
Right.
So they're people who received the gospel out of conviction.
I have my theory about it. So, I mean, they were taken into slavery, and when they found themselves to be free, they found the Christian story exactly the same as what they've grown up with.
That's right.
So they're like, oh.
No, but because remember, even within the Americas, the Africans also embraced Christianity, despite the fact
because the story was similar.
That's right,
if not the same as what they've learned.
It was not forced on them.
Yes,
they were actually prevented from hearing the story,
and they forced them.
Nobody actually went out to preach to them.
No,
the common theological understanding as at that time for those who used the Bible to perpetuate slavery was that the African has no soul for which he needs redemption.
And why would you tell him about redemption?
So why tell him about redemption when he doesn't have a soul?
Yes.
But thank God for people like John Wesley and the Wesleyan brothers, George Whitefield, who through the great revivals, the Western revivals that swept through the American colonies, that's how our people had the freedom to kind of like go listen to the message. And as they listened, that message sounded true and was familiar, and they embraced Christianity on their own terms.
Yes.
And had their own theologians and had their own style of worship and brought their own flavor into it. And that goes to show, and that tells the story of what we're trying to tell our people, that whatever we encounter within the Americas, America will be richer if we bring our own value, if we bring our strengths to the table.
Yes.
So you know what works best for Ndibo. That's what we bring to the American table. America is enriched out of that diversity. And so that is the idea of these cultural festivals. Now, there are flaws in the way we try to conduct them, in the sense that we've not really given it much thought to be able to explain a lot of what we do.
And you're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. This is Straight Talk Radio, and this is the world, news and current affairs from an Igbo perspective. And we were discussing about what's next after the Festival of the Summer.
Yes.
So you were saying that what we haven't done is be able to contextualize Christianity and whatever other religion somebody has embraced by what?
No, not really conceptual, but understanding ourselves.
Right. That's what.
And
I
then
by,
that's right. And then embracing.
It's almost like we're trading what we have. It's a barter. We are giving away some of our values and picking up what we think are Western values.
Yes.
So instead of saying, well, these are values that cannot be traded, these are immutable things that we got, and I could teach you some of the things I know while I take also the great things that you could teach me.
Now, so that is why ndị Igbo na-asị na ọdịbendị deliver.
Yes. Ndo Igbo si when in Rome.
Na nkụdị na mba
na-eghele
mba nni.
Yes.
Ọkwọtago.
Yes.
Mma onye ji
ka o ji ya
n'aka.
Yes.
Now, so you ask yourself, what do I have? And what do I need? And then you begin to repackage what you have with what you need. Now, what do I have that may not be useful for me that I need to trade? And so what are the things that are core? Like you said, what are the core things?
Yes.
Now, some of those core values for the Igbo is marriage.
Part of how you build a family. We
that's
talk
right.
about family being
family. That's right. 2 is spirituality.
Yes.
So, for example, we talked about Ahajioku on this program by the help of Dr. Akibo, who was able to unpack that entire celebration for us.
Yes.
It comes at the end of the farming season when the people gather to celebrate their hard work.
Yes.
And to give thanks to God for a bountiful harvest.
Harvest and Thanksgiving, just like it's celebrated at the end of the summer for most cultures.
Yes.
Including Pentecost.
Most agrarian cultures.
Yes.
Now, and so that celebration involves a period of introspection, which is Mwe Anonanso.
Yes.
The community goes through a period of introspection,
yes,
and then discards their old ways, which part of signified by discarding of all the old yam.
Yes.
At that point, of course, most of the old yam has been eaten all throughout from the harvest to the planting season.
Yes.
While waiting for the new harvest to come, the new yam to come. So, I mean, everybody's barn is going down. And of course, whatever is left, you give away and have him use some to plant. But the idea is you separate yourself from the old, as it's a rebirth season for the community. So the community goes through a period of recommitment and rededication to God and to the values that make them strong as a community.
So I was thinking about that after the conversations that we had with Dr. Kibo. I
Yes.
went home thinking about this, and I'm thinking, oh my God, we hear of the Chinese New Year.
Yes.
We hear of, what's the other one that India, Diwali and all those things.
Yes.
They
Even
sound similar, where
the
it's
Jewish New Year.
It's almost like the marking of a new, it's almost like we're saying this is the end of the year and I'm going to
Into a
think
new year.
about what happened, what did I do right, what did I do wrong, what should I reconcile.
Yes.
And then you go through that and you say, all right, I'm going to get ready for my new year.
Yes.
And you get rid of all the old things, including the old yam, because the new one is coming.
Yes.
So it's a move into a new you. It's a resolution for a new person.
That's right. And so a time that the community re-examines herself,
Yes.
and really finds out what is it that they need to hold on to,
Yes.
things that they need to drop, and the things they need to pursue. And so those are the things that the community goes through. It's a time of, and remember, in the days of old,
Yes.
it is the Ezenri Naguku
Yes.
Nri,
Yep.
who is the keeper of the Igbo agrarian timetable. So we had astrological skills.
Yes.
Often when aguaro,
Yes. They
they
do
keep
the
they
calendar
keep
for
they
us.
keep they keep the calendar.
Yes.
So
Almanac.
all Ezenri Sinemba Agejili Jiofo, that's when it's proclaimed all throughout the Igbo land, especially for most of us on the western side of the western Igbo land, where the Ezenri had influence,
Yes.
which is really the Onitsha province, Enugu province, some of the closer to those across the Niger.
Right.
Yes. So you hear the Iguaro.
Yes.
It was the Ezenri that orchestrates that.
It's not that we don't know how to count the years because we know what the calendar
Yes,
is.
but based
13 months.
Yes, based on the
phase of the
phase
moon
of the
and
moon.
the weather,
yes,
yes.
the weather.
And the Nri is actually the almost like the historical library of the Igbo people.
They have they kept the books.
Yes.
They were in charge of the rituals and the festivals.
Priests maybe.
And they were a nation of a city of priests.
Umweron.
So they were the ones that established the markets all throughout Igbo land.
Yes.
Poalo, often at Poalo.
Yes.
Where there are sacrileges.
Which for some reason don't happen no more.
Yeah. So,
not even in churches.
But those I think are some of the things that I think are central to the Igbo culture. The family.
We've touched
the
family,
spirit,
the marriage, the spiritual connection.
Yes. And then of course hard work.
Oh yes.
Which
is what's celebrated for.
That's right.
Yes.
Which is what the celebration is about, hard work.
Yes.
And not hard work for sheer hard work, but productive work where
that
by
benefits the
community and the individual.
Yes.
Makana aka aja. So nobody is out there trying to freeload on anyone.
Yeah, there are people who waste time these days, who make a lot of effort towards nothing, who do a lot of work but produce nothing.
Yes.
That's not what's celebrated.
Yes.
We celebrate successful enterprise that produces some benefit to.
You see, so that is why in the Igbo say, Kedifonya na alodo.
Yes.
As no politician, no name politics. You see, it's only in our time.
Yes.
Kana someone na alo politics. Oblolo.
On a mother name business. Meanwhile, you haven't seen him sell anything, buy anything, do any kind of other thing.
So those are some of the new things that started coming to the. But before, I got Kedifo na alodo.
Yes.
Because one, sometimes your trade, your vocation is also understood to be akalakai.
Yes.
Which is your God gift. Gift from God.
Yes.
And that's what people are asking. When they ask if on our Lodunga. Okay, if on will
skills.
What are his skills?
Yes.
So
God-given skills.
God-given skills. So if people are not showing forth those skills, then that is the challenge. I want us to look at some of the things that I think that we need to improve on.
Yes. That's what the show is about.
Our youth are lagging behind.
Yes.
There is a knowledge gap. There is an experience gap. And I'll call even a positional gap. Positional in the sense that our youth do not see themselves as, they don't know their place within the community.
Yes.
Most times. Most of our youth.
So if I go back to the bedrock that we started with, the family, right?
Yes.
So for any family to thrive beyond just the generation that is there, there is succession planning.
Yes.
And one of the things growing up in Igbo land that I know that it's in our culture that is done very well, that seem to be waiting, is the youth development.
Yes.
So youth development is done in different ways. So it could be the age grade.
Yes.
It could be, but now it seems like those things are not.
No, even within the family, the children should understand their place.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Onye bu diokpala.
Yes.
Anazu aka diokpala.
Yes. Yes.
Onye bu ada. is being raised as Ada.
There's division of labor even in the family.
That's right.
Yes,
Because
succession planning.
yes,
even in the
because
family, yes.
you see certain things going on, and some of the kids think that yes, we are all members of this family, but roles are different.
Yes.
And responsibilities are different.
Yes.
So for example, I know that my son, if I remind him that you're the firstborn, which means he doesn't.
If you step out of the house, he's the man.
So sometimes it's like, yeah, because he understands one thing, he carries with it some responsibility.
Yes.
Which means you got to be the example. You have to be the one that steps forward to assist, to help. If there are things to be done, there are no excuses about so and so didn't do this.
Yes.
So and so. No, you're responsible for what's going on when you are the only guy in the house.
Yes.
If your parents are not there, you're in charge.
Yep.
You should be able, and they should be able to come to you, and you solve problems. So the same thing for the other, and then for the girls and for the boys, they are being socialized differently. And so what you see, for example, within our community, what I noticed at the Igbo Fest is that a lot of the girls are now participating in cultural dances, and those bring them face to face with the women in the community,
yes.
And there's a socialization process
yes.
that goes on with that interaction of learning a dance, choosing a costume, putting on that costume and being beautified for that outdooring.
Yes.
Do you understand?
And so I'm pretty sure there are times when they get together to learn these dances.
Yes.
And probably sitting in somebody's kitchen, you hear how women interact and how.
That's right.
So, well, as they are doing this, there is a little bit of interaction and exchange.
That's right.
And training going on that is not formalized.
That's right. And that is where training it comes, and that's where parenting happens. And so that is something that I've seen that is quite commendable.
Yes.
And it's been done by a lot of our women groups. Yes. And I ask myself the question, where are the boys, where are the young men being socialized within the community?
Yeah.
They don't appear at our meetings. They are not part of our cultural organizations as members. I've not heard about any kind of initiation for groups of young men coming into a meeting or being received.
They are reading their books.
Yes. And so this idea of our children appearing as bears, seeing a hibernation after winter. Igbo first. Cubs, yeah.
Yes.
The mother cub will be hovering over the mother bear. So that in itself is not healthy.
Yeah.
Especially for the young men, because one of the things that we have to be very, very careful with is to recognize that men are being socialized differently. And in America, young black men have to be carefully prepared.
YBM, that's a bad word in the U.S. sometimes.
They have to be well prepared.
Yes.
And prepared to face life early and embrace life with courage and confidence. Because one of the things that you see is that a lot of them are delaying starting a family because they are ill prepared.
Yep.
And so you wonder, why are we having so many single women in the community that are of marriageable age, and they're asking, where are the boys?
Well, one is they are waiting for the reward that is promised, right? So a lot of times they are groomed to seek out people that understand their culture and will give them similar families that they saw from them, or they wanted to inherit similar to what their moms had. So what's been happening is you have all these gems in the community that waited, and after a while they're like, you know what? I could rank my priorities, and one of them is I want to start a family, and I'm not going to wait forever for the perfect, because maybe sometimes the imperfect will suffice.
That's okay. I mean, I say about for So yes, I'm one of those people that will say, "Na onye gezabo, ya jezela abo the
It's not a bad thing that they are finding solace somewhere else, but what it does to the community is this person has waited and soured, right?
Yes.
So they're not going to feel the same way. So for their daughter, they're not going to say, you know what, I know your way. Well, one is they're not going to have similar family. Not because they won't have a great family, they will, but the culture would not be what it used to be.
Yes. So but then, so now, all you have to know, na anubajo so, which is, this is the time to raise the young men.
Right now.
This is the time. Yeah. And so some of it will require the fathers to not only spend time with their sons, but also create what we call a rite of passage.
Yes.
And which allows the men to gather around the young men and create experiences.
If you know that music that says in the living years,
yes.
If you listen, that's actually a story that sounds like a konegu.
Yes.
And you listen to the young man agonize about the dad and the time he didn't get to spend with the dad.
Yes.
In the living years, you don't want that to be your story. These are the living years, because once they step out and go to college, you'll be aging in place while they move on.
Yep. And so what you see is that is what is going to bring strength. Now, too, it's amazing that we come to a festival, a public festival, and a lot of the young people are just hanging out, running around. None of them are participating in the organization, in the setup, in the breakdown, in the things that when we were growing up, that was our lot.
Yes. Like we talked about, there are things, there are division of labors within the family. So also there are division of labor within the community.
Yes.
For the age grades.
That's right.
And here we come to the show, and a lot of the older folks, a lot of the wiser folks, I call them, are running the show.
Yes.
And the different age grades that should be involved are standing aside.
Yes.
Enjoying themselves
and so
home after.
And then so what you have is very few of the young people are participating. So again, I tell the story of my own experience. I was coming of age at 15. It was my father who said, no, you have to go find your age group. They are beginning to organize. You need to be part of that experience.
Be part of the community.
That's right. And so if we get to any event, he's looking at you because you should know what to do.
Yes.
If they are setting up chairs, you get up and you help set up the chairs. If they are picking up bottles, you go and help pick up the bottles. Or you volunteer, or you ask the adults, is there anything that I can do to help, to assist? Those are some of the things that we need to begin to bring to bear upon our children.
You find out where they're meeting and you find yourself
That's
there.
right. So you make sure that they are participating. There's no other time for them to participate, but when they are turned 12, 13, at that point when they are beginning to get bored and they're going to find out who they are, that's the time they need to hang out with other young people.
Not just by sending them to the mall.
That's right. No, find other young people who are of the same stripe, who you want them to be part of that group, and then even the community at some point need to have a strategy.
Yes.
Have a strategy on to bringing them together. The community has to have a strategy. That's right. Because again, within the American space, what the Igbo should be doing is to present their children to the larger community. Yes. So it is up to us to prepare our young men and young women and then present them to the larger Chicago community for service and to help the community to build up our city.
I'll say kudos to a lot of the Igbo and the larger Nigerian and even African families, because for the past few years, there's all this news about how wonderful, intelligent all these young men and women are, especially with regards to academics.
Yes.
But I will still say that there are still more to be done, especially in the area of community. So if you build these young women and men up by giving them formal education,
yes,
but they are not grounded in who they are culturally,
yes,
at some point that will become an issue.
that's right. And if they have no connection to their neighborhood, they have no connection to their community,
They'll go where the connection is.
They will not be useful to the knowledge they acquire, the skills they acquire will not be properly applied.
Yes, yes.
They are not rooted.
The beanstalk is all looking green, but the roots are
They are
right
not.
on the
They are
concrete.
not rooted.
Yes. When hardship comes, when the test comes,
yes,
then the flood will just take it away.
So that's and that is what our people say, that na nwata afọ na anya luliana.
Yes.
What does it mean? Na anya lumadana.
They are grounded.
They are grounded.
They are beneath the ground with some roots.
Yes, and so na anya luliana means that they are attentive to their environment and they are relevant within their culture.
Yes.
And that's what you want. So that Watanasu Beke, tomorrow, I say Honorable Attorney General for the state, Obiebendi Ibono, Ebunyi Oji,
Ogoji,
Omalifo Game.
Yes, actually, Omalonya here tupu oluogi. I was surprised here Goji na.
Yes.
Na Okagunye Watana. He could do.
Or if it's okay, look. I mean, I use the example of Chimamanda.
Yes.
When you see her, Iman Ogelege.
There are tap roots. The root is grounded.
When she speaks,
yes,
a lot of the concepts from the platform from where she speaks, the views that she expresses are rooted in her Igbo identity.
Yes.
And the Igbo thought, Amamifi Igbo.
Amamifi Igbo.
Yeah, because you see, and that is one of the things that is coming out that was talked about at the symposium. Unfortunately, we wished we had a larger audience, that we have enough knowledge base within the Igbo culture to solve any problem.
Most of the problems that are within us today
is because we don't have that knowledge, or we were educated away from that knowledge, or we refuse to inform ourselves of those knowledge. So like somebody asked the question, how do we deal with some of the existential threats facing Igbo? Go back to knowing who you are.
Yes, awareness of the disease is the start.
It's the start.
Once you say, okay, fine, I am missing something and I know.
Yes. And then so we have a long way to go. And like you said, the community is doing their best.
Yes.
And I think the families are doing,
step up too.
They're doing their best. But one thing that I want to remind our people is that we have a certain window of opportunity to socialize and to inculcate these values in our children. And there is no other place where they can get it from but for those of us who are first generation.
Why are you saying window? I mean, there's Linux, there's all kinds of other software. Why are we interested in just Windows? No, but what do you mean that there's a certain window?
Oh, yes, because, again, once they go to college,
yes,
at college is really where their cultural identity is tried. So that is where their identity is tried.
Yes.
When they come amongst other young people. Now, back in America, the tribal, the man arrives as Nkechi, as Nandi. Yes. The girl is there as Nkechi.
Yes.
You now have to explain why Nkechi and why Nandi. This is not the time to start answering Christopher and then and Iris, yes, or to try and anglicize your name.
You know, a certain politician in Chicago for a long time went with the name Barry.
Yes.
Until he realized who he was, and he decided that whether you like it or not, he's going with his real name.
Yes.
So what you're saying is, instead of getting to a point when you should be actually asking people to say your real name, just like a lot of people know how to say Schwarzenegger, you don't want to then change your name from Okechukwu to Chris, or Okechukwu to Michael, or Okechukwu to
Oki. Oki.
Oakley.
Oakley.
So that you wouldn't confuse.
Or you make it a little Irish. Put O with apostrophe. Oki. Oki. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Okachukwu now becomes Ok.
Spell it with a Q.
Q.
Why do KW when you could? Oh, well, you are listening to WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station, and we've been discussing what's next. That's after the festivals, what's next. And this is Straight Talk Radio, your worldview from an Igbo perspective. So we have only about 5 minutes. It's just been so much fun that we went by with this very fast. So any final thoughts?
The thing is, Igbo jide nuku unu ji. Maka na onye asị ya jide ka o ji. Ọ na-eme ọfụma. We are doing something that is unique. We are pioneering something that is unique. There have not been any other generation of Ndi Igbo in America who is trying what we've tried. So we don't really have a template.
Yes.
But we have the determination and the fortitude that is needed. And Ogu Fodu, Oge take Ntachi, and it would need for us to be innovative, and it needs for us to be critical of ourselves, but more importantly, all hands on deck.
Yes.
Because you see, part of what will destroy us if Aibabi Chiche. You got to go?
Yes.
Because this idea, na anyukoma amelionu.
Oh, wow, Fufu.
You see, the point is that now every man can pee on his own.
There's no problem with that. Everybody,
and when you pee, because this is in the context of we are not talking about going to the urinal, and I just want us to dissect that idea, looking at the context for that whole idiom.
Yes,
that the man can do his thing.
Yes,
and somebody can come by and say somebody peed here.
Yes,
but if 3, 4, or 5 of us disabuse our minds, remove the pride of having to show your and the shame or having to show your stuff, and all of us decide to pee in one area, one spot.
Yes.
And then of course it's going to take a little 1, 2, 3 go, and then you see it form. It will make a larger mark.
So and I know we have only a few minutes. I promise you we're going to dissect this even further in some of the other programs, because you said a whole lot by just by that one adage.
Yes.
So since we only have a second left, I want to go back. So we talked about what the bedrock of the Igbo society is the family.
Yes. Which
has marriage within it, and then there's a spiritual connection, and then there's youth development.
Yes.
So that there is a succession planning.
That's right.
So I was thinking about this today, and something occurred to me that in Jeremiah, I believe it was in Jeremiah 8, it was talking about there's a verse that says that the young women in Israel were so distraught and crying and couldn't be consoled. But you know why? Because the verse before that in 20 was saying that the harvest is over, the summer is past, and we ourselves are not saved. We never want to be the people that this is referring to. We don't want to be able to say that the festival is over, the summer is over, but then nothing. So what we need to do next matters the most. For you as an individual, you should be asking the question, what is next? Don't just listen to Straight Talk for me to tell you what's next. You should be asking the question and trying to figure out for yourself, what do I do next?
Yes.
Being that I went to the Igbo Fest Symposium, or to the Igbo Fest, or both, the Igbo Fest Symposium and the Igbo Fest and the Igbo Fest cultural show on Saturday.
Yes.
Or even that you went to the one on Sunday. What's next for you? What's next an Igbo man?
Yeah. And live your life. Be Igbo.
Yes. Live life. Thank God.
And
do your best. And
participate in your community.
Give thanks.
They wouldn't.
Kachifoni.
You're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM.
But we are nothing friend from see the first time. Touch us instant. Why you get anything you like? Long as you are right and me alright. Me know you man, that's why I'm alive.
Your voice, your music.
Whether me in a skirt or jeans or short shorts, head raised when me walk past. Me feel the eyes, believe the eye. Me love the light, me tweet the spy.
Baby, pana, they say you like you all. I get you all, baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I can follow you to go, baby. New level.
You're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM.
New level, new level. New level, new level. New level, new level. I them can Tony in a rebel. Pam pam banana pam panam panana pam pam banana pam panam pam 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 banana pam panam panana pam pam banana pam panam pam.
Your voice, your music, your station. WGHC 98.3 FM.
Do you have dreams for yourself outside of a 9 to 5? Do you feel frustrated because everyone around you seems to be starting businesses and getting ahead? Are you frustrated that your numbers not increasing year over year? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, we have a solution for you. Average Black Girl. Average Black Girl is a boutique marketing firm with a focus on marketing strategies, website development, project management, securing sponsorships, working with startups, and many more.
Here at Average Black Girl, I, Danielle Mitchell, am founder and an international marketing strategist with experience working with big box brands from beverage companies to hair companies and many more. I'm using Average Black Girl to help create more Black millionaires by giving tools and strategies to business owners to maximize their growth. Head over and visit my site at averageblackgirl.org and book a session with me. Mention this ad and you will get a free 15-minute strategy session. Kick off the new year making your goals a reality with Average Black Girl, because there's nothing average about this Black girl. Get a free 15.
Hello. You are back here with us at Q4 Radio, just coming out of a live broadcast from WGHC 98.3 FM. Now, with the beautiful technology we have on this planet, we are all the way here in the Humble Park neighborhood with Q4 Radio, broadcasting live worldwide, www.QUE, the number 4.org, and we're going to get right into it tonight, and we're going to keep it real chill and mellow. Well, when I say mellow, I don't mean mellow like that, but we're going to do a lot of instrumental beat tracks from a lot of local producers from all around the world. So we're going to get right into it, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some things coming up, some live bands coming up here on Q4 Radio, and a bunch of other things we got in the works. So sit back, relax. Don't skip anywhere on that dial. You need to stay right here. Q4 Radio, WGHC 98.3 FM. Those are our beautiful partners. So we'll be back.
man is in mankind, not man. Man, we highlight it down.
Walling. Found me eating that whole food, standing up straight while still crawling. Arteries clogged, memories fog. We are royalty that has fallen. Brain on freeze, the drain of disease, and some of us still stolen. We were striving to thrive, had a drive to be alive. We were striving to thrive, had a drive to be alive. See, we come from original alchemists with feeling risk, mixing herbal remedies with a cure for this. This strong, never a hit or miss. All our own divinity bliss, our lineage of legacies. We so resilient. Brain circuits bursting with our brilliance. Overachievers, overabundance. We worth more than zillions. Land loaded with golden minerals, with no pesticides or chemicals. Rain rituals for a fruitful feast. Cultivating crops, we knew how to make wealth increase. So we would no longer take rotten produce with dirty floors. You can't mop up our digging no more. We're more than out the door. It's a new time and a new season. Everything happens in divine time and for the divine reason. It's a quickening, the awakening, the uncaging of our rage, and that's why I stand with a smile on my face. Because I know there are plans and plots with Allah's grace. See, I carry the spirit of Sojourner Truth in Marcus Garvey's breasts and their scars. I'm a warrior without the chains and the bars. I come from freedom fighters who walked all the way from Mississippi to Canada. Man, we've come. Right, because we can navigate you through.
Broadcasting on www.qe4.org worldwide, and here in Chicago on our partner radio station WGHC 98.3 FM. Don't go nowhere, we got a lot more coming up. Hope you're enjoying the vibes tonight. We're gonna keep it chill.
tell my kids, we live in a system that's designed for us to fail, and I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. When they get older, they're gonna face a system that tells them there is no you. There is only who I want you to be. From your latest cell phones to the style seen in your most recent videos to my implementation of what you call swag. If you can't brag about how many women you have or the $200 denim on your butt, you are worthless. Your purse is not hot if it is a fall edition and we are in the winter. And as long as your kids have Jordans on their feet, it is okay if they have to eat top ramen for a week for dinner. Your check is in the mail. You fail at becoming grown men, so you don't bother with your younger ones. Give them to me. I'll program them to Viacom. Have them growing up with a single mom and extensive rap sheets and ADD with no off switch, and download a defense that is nothing but false self-confidence shown through them being overly aggressive. Your misguided women want nothing but diamonds and Cindy, or dreams of finding a professional athlete to pay for their lives, because to them being a wife is not a lifestyle, it is trendy. Trendy to have like a little black dog carried around in a bag. The deconstruction of your black woman and man are going according to plan. Flip the coin, and for those who have chose not to go down that road, make sure that any statement they make that may challenge their masculinity are followed by statements of insecurity. We can't have them thinking for themselves. Program dreams to be a mirage, close enough to see yet too far to reach. Their aesthetics too pathetic, aka camouflage. Allow them to blend in. Keyword trend. Downtown corners full of rappers who refuse to give up even though their stuff sucks, but will allow them to say their piece. At the very least, it'll get them a quick buck. Any more success initiate operation exploitation. Throw them a bit more cash. I am the system. Programmed to initiate commands. You Negroes, you people, are programmed not to ask. Empty vessels who have sold their souls a long time ago, and you call me robotic. I am the system. Systematically set to just do. You are systematically set to just do and not think, and you call me robotic. Error, redundancy, error, repeat, error, redundancy, error, repeat. Pardon me. I was scanning your culture's current popular music. You want a cop to pay for killing one of you, but carry a no-snitching policy in your own community, which allows you Negroes, error, you Negroes, error, you Negroes, error, you people, to have absolutely no accountability. Irony overload, reset.
And you was never there. I was in a place I knew me to be when I was never In a double-aisle room, tight dancing, jumping, balling floor, did you hear? Did you hear the gush of puddles gushing from the podium bench? Did you see the barrel cock sticking back a shotgun swing? Did you hear the pellets fly? Did you see the knowledge flow? Did you hear his woman's feet? Did you hear his woman? Did you see his woman's feet? Did you see his woman climbing over and up, over, up, over, up and over, face down rows of turned down faces? Did you hear his woman's plea? That's my husband, that's my husband. Was you there? Did you go? Did you go to hear a poem in his every word? Did you hear a poem in his every word? Did you hear a poem? Was you there? Did you feed the hollow cave of starving eardrums? Did you feed the hollow crave of eardrums starving? Did you go to hear his song? Did you hear him sing? I was there. In a place I could never be, I saw the bullets' tears tearing. I was there. In a place I could never be, I heard the bullets' tears tearing. I was there. I saw the bullet shiver, the lonely bullet shiver and push, shiver and crush through the horn-rimmed frames of a strong man's peace. I heard the bullet cry. Why me? Why me? Don't make me do it. Don't make me. Taking aim at courage, I heard the bullet cry. Taking aim at courage, I saw the bullet cry. Did you? Did you? Was you there? Was you? Was you turning over chair holes, finding no room for cover space? Was you turning over chair holes, finding no room? Was you turning over chairs while the man was falling, and the bullet limping as the man was falling, and the bullet begging as the man was falling, and the bullet breaking, and the bullet breaking, and the bullet breaking through the throbbing corner of a people's heartstring, turning chairs over chairs, finding no room? Was you there? Was you? In a place you never been, but somehow you was there somehow, and you was never there. I was there. In a place I had to be to hear the bullet cry. Murder! To see our manhood fall. Murder! To watch a part of me fall. I was there on a sunny Harlem Sunday, in a place I never been. On the 21st of the 2nd, in a room I can't forget. On a stage I never seen, with a man I barely knew. I saw the bullet cry. I heard the man fall.
party, he want show himself. Everyone they dance.
We are back here at Q4 Radio. We were doing a little bit of beat tapes over poetry. It's one of the new things we got going on that we're trying to work with a bunch of local Chicago poets, with a bunch of beat makers. Then, we were getting into a little bit of the live in studio sessions with one of the New Afrobeat projects featuring Suen Kuti. I don't know if you guys know who Suen Kuti is, but if you don't know, check it out. And then we are going to get a little bit more into the playlists here. Excuse me for a second. Got a little bit sidetracked. And, we're hoping everyone's having a good day today. Good positive day. Again, you're listening to Q4 Radio live on WGHC 98.3 FM. Next week on Tuesday, we'll We're going to return with the bar guitar with your host, Nicole the Pirate. And I believe her guest is going to be, again, Matt Hendricks, which is a local Chicago blues musician. You can catch him at Buddy Guy's Legends. Speaking of that, by the way, happy birthday to Buddy Guy. I know he's got a big thing going on tonight over there at Legends. And the whole Buddy Guy crew is over there working that event, so I can imagine how crazy that's going to be. He's one of the last ones alive. So, yeah. Hope he's not going anywhere for a while. We're going to get back into a little bit of a mix here with Pugs Adams, and then we'll be right back. Talk a little bit more about things. Q4 Radio. So we were just vibing out with Pugs Adams, which is a local Chicago artist. If you don't know about him, get at him, check him out. Right now we're about to get into, we here at Q4 Radio used to run a spot called Multiculti, and we brought all kinds of musicians from all over the world, all over the United States, to perform live. This was kind of the birth of Q4 Radio Station, because we thought, hey, why not show the world what we're doing here in Chicago? And Q4 Radio was born. So the track I'm about to play next is from a live session inside Multiculti with an Afrobeat ensemble called The Underground System, based out of Brooklyn, New York. So the sound's gonna sound a little rough, but keep in mind it's a live session. These guys were playing a live show here at Multiculti, which is now transitioned into Q4 Radio. So we hope you guys enjoy this a bit, and then we'll be back shortly after this song is done. Q4 Radio, Q4.org, 98.3 FM, WGHC.